My name is Meghan Clark. I am an assistant professor of moral theology at St. John's University and author of The Vision of Catholic Social Thought, The Virtue of Solidarity and the Praxis of Human Rights. Catholic social thought, sometimes called the social doctrine of the Church, is the Church's attempt to engage the world as it truly is, to read the signs of the times, and respond in light of the gospel. The audience is not only Christians, but all persons of goodwill in the community. While it can often seem abstract and distant, a matter of papal encyclicals or bishop statements, it has also given rise to some very catchy bumper stickers. If you want peace, work for justice, Paul VI instructed. If you want justice, defend life, John Paul II reminded. And to cultivate peace, protect creation, implored Benedict XVI. All show key aspects of Catholic social thought. But to answer the question, what is the vision of Catholic social thought, we must begin with the scriptures. We find the clearest answer in the book of Micah. What is it the Lord requires of us? Only to do justice and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God, Micah 6:8. The middle part gets translated in many ways: to love tenderly, to love goodness, to love kindness. But my friend and colleague, Hebrew Bible scholar Aida Pilarski, introduced me to this translation: to do justice, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. This is the vision of Catholic social thought. Scripture, it turns out, gives us the perfect bumper sticker. What is asked of us? Only this. It sounds deceptively simple. I find myself haunted by the only in only this. Micah has a sense of humor. What is it the Lord asks for? Our whole selves. Doing justice and loving mercy is relational. It sets the boundaries for our lives and community. It asks us to be men and women for and with others, as my Jesuit education taught me. And to do this, not boasting, but always remaining humble. All of our lives are covered here. And when informed by the parable of the Good Samaritan and the parable of the Last Judgment, we begin to fully understand the radical vision of Catholic social thought encapsulated in Micah 6:8. What does the Lord require of us? Only to dedicate our whole lives to building a just and merciful community in which no one is excluded. The parable of the Good Samaritan, while too long for a bumper sticker, is certainly one of the most well-known passages of the Bible. All of my students, no matter their religious background, all know the story, and that the Samaritan is a good guy. Upon closer look, we begin to see what love mercy truly entails. The Samaritan practices what moral theologian Sister Margaret Farley calls compassionate respect. The actions taken are not abstract or general, but particular: wine to disinfect and oil to soothingly coat an open wound. He engages the situation as it is and responds to the concrete and perhaps complex needs of the wounded man, otherwise left for dead. To love mercy is not abstract or purely emotional. It is a rich ethical principle that Catholic social thought tries to apply in many contexts, most recently to the scourge of modern-day slavery in Pope Francis's 2015 World Day of Peace message. The parable ends with the injunction to go and do likewise, expanding the boundaries of who is included. Samaritans were outcasts in the society. The lesson comes from someone otherwise rejected and ignored. It asks us who, in our own societies, do we refuse to acknowledge as our neighbors. The vision of Catholic social thought emphasizes the full and equal human dignity of all persons. No one is excluded. in protecting and promoting different communities, like the family and the parish, civil society and the state, the purpose is always the same: the full human flourishing of all, without exception. Therefore, the common good in Catholic social thought can only be achieved if the human dignity of each is protected. Matthew 25's The Parable of the Last Judgment emphasizes this very point. On what criteria will we be judged by God? Based upon how we treat poor, vulnerable, and marginalized persons. Again, it is a familiar passage. For I was hungry and you fed me, thirsty and you gave me drink. Or, for I was hungry and you fed me not. And those being judged reply, Lord, when did we see you? The answer, whatever you did or did not do for one of the least brothers and sisters of mine, you did or did not do for me. Much in Catholic social thought is a reflection on this very passage. The preferential option for the poor, human dignity, the common good, and solidarity. In this passage, Jesus radically identifies himself with those on the margins of society. Jesus is the injured man on the side of the road. Jesus is the undocumented worker in our midst. Jesus is the single mother trying to raise her child. Jesus is the child sold into slavery to pay off crippling family debts. Jesus is the drug addict, unwanted and unloved in the community. The vision of Catholic social thought is a radical call to solidarity in which no one is excluded, which recognizes that my humanity is bound up in yours, that we are truly one human family, and only when we embrace this can we together do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with our God.